I'm going to steal Marcus's tagline here, and which I think is so apt, which is that new ways of working don't work with old ways of thinking. And I think that gets into the cultural issue that you're talking about, Richard, which is that you know you're not just changing the way people do their jobs. If you're doing this right, you're changing the way they think about their jobs, and indeed the way they think, period. And that's not easy. And it's important, this is something that we deal with in our business all the time, is having a bit of sympathy for people, recognizing, particularly when we're working, this is really true when we're working with private clients rather than doing training, for people who want to be learning our tools and
Yep.
techniques.
Yep.
But when we come into an organization, is to have the sensitivity, and particularly for senior leadership, that this is hard. One of the things that we do with a lot of our private clients is we kick things off with playing a game we call Lies We Tell Ourselves, that gets into just that. What are some of the lies we tell ourselves as an organization? That gets real very quickly.
Brutal, isn't it?
And it's easy to be glib about it, but you have to have, and I'm always amazed at the willingness of leaders to do this.
Yeah.
To have that discussion with their teams. But you have to have a lot of empathy and a lot of sympathy for them, because, it's not easy to hear the truth if you haven't been hearing it, if no one's been telling you, particularly for years or maybe your whole career. And now they're going to, that can be difficult.
That for us, over the later part of the Nationwide journey, I was very fortunate actually to work for an incredibly enlightened chief operating officer.
Is that Patrick?
Patrick Eltridge.
Yeah, great guy.
He invested internally in something that we called a ways of working center of enablement. And we put real focus on culture, and we put real focus on supporting areas of the organization. So either leaders, teams, preferably teams and leaders working together on the topics of psychological safety, and then Arbinger's outward mindset. So we did have some pretty substantial in-house accredited training that allowed us to engage with individuals so that they could learn content, but ideally extant cross-functional teams who were starting to work together so that we could really deliberately address mindset, address that understanding of psychological safety, meaning not being nice to each other, but having that low fear of interpersonal risk and that sense of being able to be open. It's not quite at the radical candor end of the conversation, but for UK folk, the getting towards radical candor. And when I look at Kim Scott and Amy Evanson sort of coming together with that, so we were using that type of content to suggest to teams coming together for maybe the first time who'd been in role-based silos and had a project management machine that sort of did the handoffs. Actually, now we're seeing these teams coming together, in value stream oriented ways of working with teams who are needing to find a common language and a sort of common belief. And actually, for a building society, the common belief system is really easy. It's not shareholder, it is member. So that sense of it, I think a building society has a really easy leg up in the sense of you're really quite viscerally and directly connected to member value. But the culture, and a culture where people feel safe to speak as they find, to have an inclusive environment where diverse points of view are welcomed. Yeah, I 100% back that actually I am forever grateful for the bravery, the empathy, the humility of the leaders we were working with to engage in that so willingly, so openly, and so vulnerably. And that, for everything, that's it, right? It's nothing about the individual involved. I think organization, there's a great culture.